Yo, what's going on, everybody? Appreciate everybody for tuning in to today's edition of the Jets Report by Chat Sports. And my name is Patrick Siepman. Now, coming up on today's show, I want to dive into the 5 biggest storylines around the New York Jets as we are heading into a hectic offseason. The Jets, they have a boatload of draft capital. They have over $100 million to spend in free agency. So what are some of the top storylines you guys should be looking out for? I want to start off with number one, the biggest storyline here around the New York Jets. The quarterback position. Who's going to be QB1 for this franchise? Obviously, we know Justin Fields. There is a chance that he very well could be cut this offseason. Now, obviously, the Jets signing him to a deal that had $30 million of guaranteed money makes this contract very sticky to get out of, but I think it's more likely than not that the Jets will probably end up cutting him, and then the Jets will have to take on $57 million of dead cap between Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers. So then it becomes, well, who will be QB1? I don't think it will be Tyrod Taylor, even though Tyrod did a decent job against the Baltimore Ravens yesterday. And with the free agency market not having a lot of good options, I think the Jets will probably have to go look at the draft. Now, the question becomes, do you want to go all in on one of these guys? Do you want to go all in on Fernando Mendoza? Do you want to go all in on a Ty Simpson? As you guys know, we've been watching the show. I'm a massive fan of Mendoza. I like what he's about. He's got some moxie about him. He's got this alphaness, this swagger that I think can really galvanize the locker room. But the question with the Jets is like, do you want to go all in on a guy like Mendoza? Because if you go all in, he doesn't end up working out. This regime will end up being, let go. Like Darren Mougey, Aaron Glenn, you don't get the quarterback position right. They'll probably be looking for different options in terms of a head coach and a general manager. So I think the biggest storyline, and it will be the biggest storyline until we get an answer to this question, is who will be QB1 for the Jets. But also, will they pay Breece Hall? Because I think Breece Hall, he has had a massive bounce back year. He looks amazing. And I think the Jets' offensive line gets a lot of credit for that as well. But even yesterday where he couldn't get involved in the run game, Ravens were selling out. Their big defensive tackles were really slowing his game down. But he was able to be very effective in the pass-catching game. Like we saw Breece Hall take that one screen, took it for about 40, 50-plus yards. It was just showing off his elusive ability, showing off that athletic ability. But will the Jets pay him? I think that's still a big question mark because Breece Hall is probably going to want around that James Cook contract of around $12 to $15 million per season. Do the Jets, with a new regime, want to pay the running back position that much money? I have my questions about that. But, if you think about this offensive talent on the Jets, you get rid of Breece Hall, the weapons do look thin. Because obviously you still got Garrett Wilson. You got guys like John Mechie, A.D. Mitchell working in as a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. You're getting Braylon Allen back next year. You still got Isaiah Davis. Mason Taylor's a solid tight end. But if you remove Breece Hall from that group of weapons from the running back, wide receiver, and tight end room, there's not a whole lot to work with. And with especially the type of offense the Jets want to run, where they want to be downhill, want to have that run-first identity, having an elite running back definitely does help that case. So that's going to be a huge question mark for this team. Will they end up paying Breece Hall? I would probably lean they will, but it's going to come down to, one, how many years do you want to attach on? Because we've seen running backs really hit that wall in their NFL career, once they hit 27, 28 years old. So do you want to get Breece Hall a 3-4 year 4-year deal at around $12, $15 million per year? I probably wouldn't, but maybe if it's a 2-year, $28 million deal, I would have some interest in that. But let's just say Breece Hall, I'm assuming his camp's going to want around $15 million a year. You guys let me know. Would you pay Breece Hall $15 million per season? You guys let me know your thoughts down below. Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no down below in the comment section. I'll make this the pinned comment on today's show, so go down there and let your thoughts be known in the comment section. Now, more of the top storylines you got to follow is just a lack of defensive talent for this Jets team. And I will give the Jets defense a lot of credit for the fight that they showed yesterday. You're going against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and you limited Lamar Jackson to under 200 yards total and Derrick Henry to under 100 yards total. Like, if you would have told me that before the game, I would probably not believed you. Like, that's a great performance from the Jets defensively, but you really only think about the guys that are for sure locked in for the future. It's a guy like Jermaine Johnson who also doesn't have a contract yet. Maybe a guy like Jarvis Brownlee. Still got a question mark at the linebacker position. Like, are you going to pay Quincy Williams? Damian Sherwood will probably be there, but you need talent on the defensive tackle spot, especially in the secondary. Like, the safety room for the Jets is the worst in the National Football League by a wide margin. Like, Malachi Moore, still a young player, can still develop, but besides him, you got Tony Adams. Tony Adams stinks. You're probably going to want to maybe go get a guy like Caleb Downs if you don't end up drafting a quarterback in the top 10, but that's going to be a huge storyline to follow because, I will say offensively, like, you got a good offensive line. You got Garrett Wilson, you got Mason Taylor. If you do end up bringing Breece Hall back, like, just your weapons are at least serviceable enough so you can spend that $100 million in free agency, put it all towards the defense. How about the draft picks? Yes, you're going to probably spend one premium pick on a quarterback, but the other 3 in the first 2 rounds next year, go spend them all defensively. And I think that's pretty much on the table for the Jets is, they're going to put a lot of their assets this offseason to the defensive side of the football. But there's no doubt the Jets are going to be active this offseason, so that's why you guys need to make sure you are subscribed here to the channel. We're closing in on our next milestone of 11,500 subscribers. We just need 199 more of you guys. Hit that subscribe button today. You guys, let me hear your thoughts. Or you guys join the Jets Report family here and hit that sub button today. All right, coming up next here on the show, we're going to be talking about if the Jets should trust offensive coordinator Tanner Eckstrad and defensive coordinator Steve Wilks. We'll talk about those 2 guys coming up in just a second. But, guys, we got a massive deal for you going on right now at chatsports.com/Jets hoodie, where this hoodie right here is over 50% off. So you have a loved one in your life who is a diehard Jets fan with the holiday season, coming up here and just around the corner, and you want to get them some more Jets gear. This is a sweet hoodie, got a really clean look to it, and it's over 50% off right now. So take advantage. It's a limited time offer. Chatsports.com/Jets hoodie. Click that link in the comment section and description of today's show to pick up some more Jets merch in your life today. All right, let's talk about the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator. I think there's more of a question mark around the defensive coordinator, in my opinion, Steve Wilks, compared to Tanner Eckstrad. Now, it's been tough to evaluate Tanner Eckstrad this entire season because you have gotten some terrible quarterback play in Justin Fields, where the Jets were necessarily running a gimmicky high school offense, where it was either inside zone up the gut to Breece Hall, it was a read option with Justin Fields, or he was just throwing a nail route where it's just a tight end or a running back sitting 5 yards in front of him, and he was just throwing a hitch route there. But also with Tyrod Taylor, you were able to see somewhat of improvement with the offense, of like more of the flow. And we have seen Tanner Eckstrad have some good games. Like, he is a creative mind coming from that Ben Johnson tree. Or obviously Ben Johnson's, he looks like he's doing a great job in Chicago, one of the best offensive minds in the league. But, do you trust Tanner Eckstrad to be that offensive coordinator for that young quarterback you're going to get? That's the answer you're going to need to get to that question. And then on the Steve Wilks front, I got question marks if he's still the guy. Him and Aaron Glenn, they seem pretty confident in their abilities. But again, do you want him being the defensive coordinator for the future? Now, you could just bring him back next year, and then if he ends up not working out, you could just fire him. Maybe Glenn starts calling plays. But that's going to be huge to figure out, if you need to go find another defensive coordinator. Because I will say, Glenn, he seems like a guy that does want to be that CEO style of head coach. I don't think he's got too much interest in calling plays again, but he was fantastic when he was calling plays at the Detroit Lions. So finding out if you have the OC and DC of the future, it's going to be huge this offseason. And then lastly, mainly just want to give some love to Aaron Glenn here. And he deserves credit for keeping this locker room fully bought in. Because after the NFL trade deadline, you trade away Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams. This team, they were a 2-win football team. They had a very tough schedule coming up. But these guys have shown a lot of fight, and I think a lot of that credit has to go to the head coach. It's got to go to Aaron Glenn. I would tip my cap for him, because I was expecting the Jets to just completely get blown out in Baltimore against the Ravens. This is a Ravens team trying to get back on track, trying to win that AFC North after starting 1-5. They were on a 4-game winning streak coming into yesterday's game, beat the Jets. Now, obviously, they're on a 5-game winning streak here. But you also got to give credit to Aaron Glenn, where it's hey, this team could have rolled over. They could have given up 40, 50 points to that Ravens team, but they showed a lot of fight with not a lot of talent defensively. The Jets overall defensively, you just took, starting 11 for each defense in the National Football League. The Jets probably got the worst one in terms of a talent perspective, but they have not played like that. So I think that credit goes to Aaron Glenn. I mean, we've seen it, even their 2 wins this season. That locker room, they love this guy. They'll play for him. They'll go to war for him. And he's also a guy that's just very, very easy to root for. But it's going to be an insane offseason for the Jets. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you got huge question marks around the quarterback position. You got huge question marks on how they're going to use all these draft picks, all this free agency money. What will you do? Will you go attack defense hard? Will you just go all in on a certain quarterback? Moves will be made this offseason, and I'm very excited to see how it plays out. And hopefully the Jets can turn this around and just become a formidable franchise for the first time since 2011. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, we appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Just hit me with a Go Jets down below in the comment section, and we'll get on out of here. As always, Go Jets.